Okay, everybody, welcome to our Tuesday night shiur again. Parashat Tizea. We're doing it Leilul Nishmat. Max?
Chana bat Shoshana.
Chana bat Shoshana. May our neshama have an aliyah. So we know that we're still in Elul, and we're going to see something very interesting, because this parsha talks about when a person goes out to war, Ki titzel milchama lo ovecha, when you go out to war against your enemy, right? Untano Hashem lokecha beyadecha, and Hashem your God will give him in your hands, v'shavita shivyo, and you'll capture him, right? And so the question is, what war are we talking about? Who's going out to war? What's he fighting against? Who's being captive? Who's in the Chevy, right? Who's being captive? Because the Torah, remember, the Torah is not a historical book. The Torah is not history. The Torah is a living Torah. And the Torah has to be talking to you right here and right now. It means if the Torah is telling you, Ki titzel milchama lo ovecha, that means you're in a war. A person you're going out to war. And you have to get something from a place that is captive. And we have to know who's capturing, who's the captive, who's the enemy, what's the war. We have to ask all these questions. And we know that Parashat Tizea is one of the parshiot in the Torah that has the most mitzvot. And all of the Torah, we know that it's one of the parshiot that has one of the most mitzvot. It's full of mitzvot. So it's very interesting to see what the Torah is trying to teach us over here. Remember, the Torah is always, the Torah is a guide. It's guiding you through life. It's Hashem that's with you. So comes the Torah and says to us, you're going out to war. And we know that all of Elul, a person is in a war. It says by the Rabbi Avraham Mislonim said like this, once they were together, and he says, Shama pa'am achad goy echad amar l'sheni. He found one person, a goy, telling another goy, Shayu avdim beyachad ba'asifat atboah. They were harvesting their crop, and they were bringing in the fruits, and they said to each other, they were speaking amongst each other, and the rabbis, they heard them saying, they said, אם החודש הזה נתעצל ולא ניגע בעוונותינו, לא יהיה לנו כל השנה מה לאכול. They heard them saying, listen, if we become lazy this month, and we don't gather all the fruits, and we don't work on the field, and we don't make sure that the field is going to yield the crop, we won't have anything to eat the whole year. And the rabbi said, you know what month this was? This was Chodesh Elul. And it gave him a great awakening to realize that in Elul, a person is planting seeds for the whole upcoming year. And the question is, what is this avodah? What is this avodah? What is this work? What is this planting that we're doing? What are we trying to do in Elul? Of course you're doing tshuva. We always have to understand, what does it mean that a person is going to do tshuva? What does it mean that a person is going to repent? And everybody's going to say, you're going to get closer to Hashem. Okay, what great. So you've been doing that for 50 years. What does it mean to get closer to Hashem? So the parsha is going to come and it's going to tell us this, Ki titzel milchama lo ovecha, comes the Midrash Rabbah, and this Midrash is perplexing. It says like this, Orech chaim pen tefales na'ub ma'agalotea lo teda, ma'u orech chaim pen tefales, that a person holds his life his life is like in a balance, you have to keep it straight. Amar Rabbi Abba bar Kana, Amar Kadosh Baruch Hu, lo te'eh yoshev u'meshakel b'mitzvotei shel Torah. Don't start and taking the mitzvot of the Torah and starting to weigh them. Why? A guy's a smart guy. He's an investor. He goes, I'm going to take the commandments of the Torah and I'm going to start weighing them. And he's going to see which ones is bigger. That one has a big reward. I'm going to stick to that one. That one's not such a great reward. I'm not going to stick to that one. Therefore, Ma'asa Kadosh Baruch Hu, Lo gila labriyot ma'u matan schara shel kol mitzvah u'mitzvah. Hashem didn't tell you what the reward of each mitzvah is. Kedei sheyasu kol mitzvot betom, that you have to be like a tam, a person who goes straight with the Kadosh Baruch Hu. That you do every mitzvah. You don't only focus and pre-choose each mitzvah. Why? Shene'emar na'u ma'agalotea lo teda. Person should know. Lema davar domeh. Now the Midrash continues. And the Midrash is going to give you a parable. And it's going to tell you, what's this parable? Lema davar domeh lemelech shesachar lo po'alim, a king. And this king rented workers, ve'chnisam letoch pardeso. He brought them into his orchard. Satam ve'lo gila lehem mas charo shel pardes. He didn't tell them what they would get for planting each item. שלא יניחו דבר ששכרו מועט וילכו ויעשו דבר ששכרו מרובה. The king wanted to plant an orchard. He had grapevines, he had apples, he had oranges. He wanted to fill the whole orchard. And for every fruit and for every plantation, there was a different reward. Now, if you're an employee, and you know that if I plant a grape vineyard, I'm going to get 500,000. I'm going to get rubles. And if I plant an orange tree, I'm only going to get 100,000 rubles. Which one are you going to plant? The grapevine. So the king was smart. He says he wanted a full orchard. He didn't want them to pick and choose what they're going to do. Ba'erev, at night, after he told them each to go and do, he called every one of the workers, and he said, what did you plant? And what did you plant? Amalo, one said, I planted pilpil. Yeah, I planted peppers. Oh, peppers? Good. Zauv echad, 1 gold coin for you. Kara la'acher, called the other one. Amalo tachat, which one did you do? Amalo, what did I do? I did this tree. Amalo, oh, that's only half a gold coin. Because you only did one thing. What tree did you do? Said, I did the olive tree. Oh, 200 zuz, 200 zuz for you. Amrulo, they come and tell him, oh my king, why didn't you tell us? You cheated us. You should have told us which tree was the greatest one. In order that we should go and focus on that tree, on that plantation. Amar lahem hamelech, if I would have told you which one was the most expensive and the greatest reward, you wouldn't have planted everything else. What would have happened? I have no orchard. Therefore, HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't tell anybody the reward of mitzvot, chutz mishte mitzvot. Only 2 mitzvot did HaKadosh Baruch Hu reveal to us their rewards. Which were they? Achamura shebachamurot, the most stringent of them, ve'akala shebakalot, and the easiest of them. Which is the most stringent of them? Kibud avaim. Which is the easiest of them? Shiluach haken. It says, Shalech teshlach et ha'em ve'rach ta'yamim. Aveki ikra ken sipor. When a person sees a bird on the way, he has to take the eggs. He shoos the mother bird away, and he takes the egg. And for that, you get a rechut yamim. So, this midrash is going to be the basis of our whole shir. Why doesn't the king tell them? This midrash makes no sense. Tell them, what is the midrash hinting to us over here? Why did the Torah, the midrash, choose to project to us this idea that we should emphasize on every single mitzvah with such a parable? And like we said, you know that the mitzvah talks about Ki titzel milchama, you're going out to war. And we said one of the questions that a person goes out to war, the question is, what are you doing in this war? What are you looking for? It says v'shavita shivyo. It says that when a person comes to the world, before a baby is born, what happens to him? What happens to the person? He starts to cry, right? When a baby comes out of his mother's womb, he's crying. Why is he crying? Because the angel, for the 9 months, was teaching him Torah. He was teaching him the whole Torah. He was teaching him his objective in life. He told him what he had to focus on. And before he comes out, he hits him on his upper lip, right? And he forgets everything. That's why everybody always has an indent over here.
That's why they're crying.
Right? And that's why he's crying. Why is he crying? Because now he lost everything. So what's the job of the baby to do? Is to come out into the world. What's the world? The war. He's going to war. And he's looking for everything that he's lost. Ki titzele milchama aloevecha. When you leave your mother's womb and you come into the world, you're going to be in a war. And what are you doing in that war? You're going to find your lost objects. Which lost objects are you going to find? Oh, that we'll see. And we'll see how all these lost objects are really pertaining to the person. So it's really life becomes a journey of rediscovering. The moments that you're going through life, you're basically what you're looking in is you're looking for certain things that are really you. So you're going to rediscover everything that happened in those 9 months. Comes the Rabbeinu Bechai, and he says that one of the mitzvot, you should know, one of the commandments that's brought down in this week's parasha is mitzvat hashevat avedah. It's not a coincidence. That it says that imraita et shor suncha, that if a person sees the animal of his friend lost on the way, and all these things, he has to bring it back to his friend. He has to bring back the avedah. So there's a big mitzvah called hashevat avedah, that a person has to return a lost object. By the way, interestingly enough, it says that avedat akum muteret. If a goy loses something, you don't have to return it to him. Why? Why if a goy loses something, there's no mitzvah v'shavat avedah? Shneimar avedat achicha, only your brother, amachzira areh. And not only that, if you bring the object back to the individual, which is not a Jew, it's called areh over avera. You're transgressing a sin. Mipnei shu machzik yedei reshei olam. There's only one time you're allowed to bring back to a goy a lost object. When's that one time? If there's going to come out Kiddush Hashem. If you're going to praise HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Which is like every time.
Why isn't it
Not
every
really.
time?
What?
Why isn't it every time then?
Because not every time that you give back to somebody you can cause a Kiddush Hashem.
Why?
And as long as you don't cause a Chilul Hashem. Like the Gemara, everybody knows there was a Maaseh with Shimon ben Shetach. Once Shimon ben Shetach was the big rabbi in the Gemara, and the Gemara says that he went in Ishmaeli, he went to an Arab merchant, and he bought a donkey, right? And when he bought the donkey from the Arab merchant, he came and the donkey had a big diamond on it, right? It says, "Umatza bo even tova tluya betzavaro." Amru lo Rebbe birkat Hashem itashir. His student says, "Oh, Rabbi, look, the blessing of Hashem is what makes you wealthy." So comes Amar le'en Rabbi Shimon ben Shetach, "Chamor lakachti, even tova lo lakachti." I bought a donkey. I didn't buy a diamond. So he gave him back. And when he gave back the merchant, the diamond, the merchant said, Baruch Hashem Elokei Shimon ben Shetach. Blessed be the God of Shimon ben Shetach. So Reb Shimon ben Shetach took an opportunity to call the Kiddush Hashem. That's on a side note. But the truth is that when it comes to something that's been lost, why is it that the Torah said to the Goy, you don't have to give it back to him? Unless there's a side note of Kiddush Hashem, of praising, of sanctifying the godly name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. What is it so permanent that only by a Jew do you have to give it back? So comes Rabbeinu Bechai and says, Kol inyan mitzivat hashvat avedah, the whole idea of commandment of bringing back a lost object, meramezet al tchiyat hametim. It's a hint for the revival of the dead. What do you mean? What's going to happen then? Akadosh Baruch Hu, in the time of Tchiyat HaMetim, Akadosh Baruch Hu מחזיר אבדה לבעליו באחרית הימים, שיושב כל אחד לגורלו הראשון. Look what Rabbeinu Bechai says. This is the deepest mitzvah, he says. That really, you know what's going to happen in the resurrection of the dead? Hashem is going to give you back all your avedot. He's going to give you back all your lost items, and you're going to go back to your original self. Your being in its most potential, in its greatest way, you're going to go back to that in Tchiyat HaMetim, and who's going to give you back all those lost objects? Hashem. So when you do that over here, you're copying, you're mimicking what HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to do in the revival of the death. וכולנו יודעים שמצווה זאת איננה נמצאת אלא בעם ישראל ולא בגוי. לכל אבדת אחיך ולא לגוי. לפי שלגוי אין חלק בהשם. What does that have to do with anything? The guy lost an object, go give it back to him. Who cares if he has a part in God or not has a part in God? אלא באלוהה כי ועבדה עבדה שאיננה נמצאת בארץ החיים ולא תחזור לבעליה לעולם. A guy who lost something, he's never going to get it back. What are you talking about? Give him the lost object, he'll get it back. What do you mean he has no part in HaKadosh Baruch Hu? And therefore there's no mitzvah, there's no commandment of giving him back the lost object. What are you talking about? What is this mitzvah of the lost avedah? And what does it have to do with going out to war? So I've piqued your interest now a little bit. Now we don't know anything. I'm more confused. We're saying we're more confused than what we started. Well, nothing makes sense over here. So I was in the same boat as you today. And I said there has to be something deeper over here. There has to be something deeper. And when the mitzvot of the Torah come and tell us There has to be something deeper. There has to be an awakening here. There has to be something that the Torah wants to reveal to us by telling us that when you're going out to war, al oivecha. Who is that enemy that you're going out to war against? So listen what the Michtav Melial says. Yeah? He says, I want you to know that נראה על פי מה שהביא בספרים הקדושים מזוהר הקדוש. What's the purpose of any mitzvah? Why do we have to do mitzvot? Huh?
Because we do averot.
To get closer to Hashem. To make the name great. No?
It's the answer to everything. He says, you know why you do mitzvot? He says, I'll give you a hint. The Zohar says, mitzvot nikraim. The mitzvot, the commandments are called Taryag itin deoraita. You know what they're called? Etzot, advice. When the Torah gives you commandments, it gives you 613 advices. To do what? Lekarev et ha'adam laborei yitbarach kelashon HaRambam. Like the Rambam says in the end of the Halachot of Tmura, Verov dinei HaTorah. All the laws of the Torah, really hidden inside of them, enan ela etzot merachok migodel ha'etzah. They're really advice from afar, from the greatest advice giver, being who? HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself. God himself is the greatest advice giver. Letaken ha'deot v'leyasher ha'maasim. So the 613 mitzvot are really just giving you advice on how to get closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Okay? Lachen, so he says like this, and I want to give you an introduction, says. He says, why do you blow in a shofar and a lul?
Why?
Yeah, why do you blow in a shofar? Why do you blow in a shofar?
Confuse it, what?
Confuse him from what?
From joining us in Rosh Hashanah.
From confusing you. We try to confuse him. Alright? So listen to what he says. He says, by the way, what's Rosh Hashanah called? Yom HaZikaron. Translate, that means the day of remembering, right? What are you trying to remember? And what is the shofar of Elul? Why is that the prelude that leads you up to the shofar of Rosh Hashanah? So he says, I want to tell you something. He says like this, that really what happens is as follows. When the Rambam says the reason that we blow the shofar in Elul is because Uru Uru Shanim Mishanatchem. Awaken sleepy ones from your slumber, right? What are you awakening for? Because you forgot that you have to be Meshiva Veda. You forgot your purpose and your mission in the world to do what? To get back your lost objects. Because you're coming into the world in a journey of rediscovering. But in order to rediscover, you have to go to war. Who are you going to war against? Oivecha. Who's your enemy? The Yetzer Hara. Because the Yetzer Hara is constantly putting inside of you what? Forgetfulness. He's constantly putting you into slumber that you forget what you're doing. You get involved in this world and you forget that you're supposed to be Meshiva Veda. This Aveda are all the lost items that you have to build the orchard. You have to build the king's orchard. Rosh Hashanah is the culmination of the orchard. The big Rosh Hashanah. When Mashiach comes, that's the culmination of the orchard. But you can never get to that big Rosh Hashanah when you forgot about the whole beginning, which is over here. Tshuva, so what does it mean to do tshuva? What are you doing? What are you coming back for? You're coming back to your mission of going and picking up all your lost objects. You're remembering. That the shofar is waking you up to remember because you forgot. The whole year you were sleeping. You forgot what you were supposed to do. Comes the shofar of Elul and says, no, you have to wake up. What do you have to wake up and do? To find your lost object. To find your nitzutzot. To find your sparks of Kedusha that are lost from you. Because you're not full yet. So the shofar is a prelude to that big shofar. Vaya bayom hahu v'yitku b'shofar gadol. They'll blow in the big shofar. Because that big shofar is going to remind you that, you have to bring back those lost objects. And we're going to see soon why the king didn't reveal to them. By the way, if you take Elul, right? Elul says, one of the Reshei Tevot of Elul is, Ani limtzo v'lashuv. I am to find and to come back. What are you finding? All those things that you lost. That's the war. The war is to constantly bring back those sparks of Kedusha. That's what's being captive. What is it being captive? What got captured? The parts of you that you lost are captured inside the Yetzer Hara. That's why Rashi says, what kind of war are we talking about? What kind of war are you talking about? When these people went out to war, says Rashi, "B'milchemet hareshut hakatuv medaber." Milchemet hareshut is not a mitzvah. You know what milchemet hareshut means? Where's the biggest challenge for a person? Not when it comes to sin. Your biggest challenge is when you're involved in the world doing things that are permissible. You're working, you're eating, you're engaged in things that are seemingly permissible. That's the biggest battle. Because over there is the greatest sparks of Kedusha that are captive. You know when a person eats, you ever went to a buffet? Why do you think one person wants chicken wings and one person wants fries and one person wants salad? Why is that what's pulling you? Huh? It says, "V'chashakta ba." You went out to war and you desired her. What are you desiring? You're desiring the sparks of holiness that are rightfully yours. That's why each person is attached to something else. Because there's something else that is you inside the world. That's the ki titzeh milchama. You're going out to war. You're now in Elul. You're supposed to, the shofar is waking up. Remember, you have to bring the lost objects back. And until you bring all those lost objects, Mashiach doesn't come. That's why we call it birurim. You know what it means, birurim? We're constantly mevarer the good. After Adam Rishon ate from Etz Hadat Tov V'Ra, he ate from the tree of evil and good, everything got mixed together. All the good fell into the bad. Your job, why are we engaged in the world? Because we want to take the good from the bad. That's why on Shabbat, the halacha is on Shabbat, what can't the person do? There's no war on Shabbat. It says Yom HaShabbat is Yom Menucha, a day of rest. So what are you not allowed to do on Shabbat?
Turn on the lights.
Brera. What is Brera on Shabbat? Separation. You're not allowed to separate on Shabbat. Because on Shabbat, the war ends. Now, that's okay for that. So we said that one of the mitzvot that the Torah did reveal to us was what? Ken Sipor. You're on the way, and you see a bird, you see a nest, right? And when you come to see the nest, you want to do the mitzvah of shalach de shalach. You send away the mother bird and you take her eggs. Okay? So now, seemingly like a cruel mission. So the Torah says like this, that if a person says that this is a mitzvah that shows Hashem's mercy, you miss the whole point of the mitzvah. And look what it says. What does this mitzvah have to do with us waking up? What does the mitzvah of pushing away the mother bird have to do with us waking up in Elul? So he says like this. He says that when you go and you push away the mother bird,
Wait, do you have to kill the eggs or can you raise them
he says,
and then let them go?
"Im kiyamta mitzvat shiluach," if you were mekayem mitzvat shiluach, ata memaer lavo melech HaMashiach. You bring closer the melech HaMashiach. Why? שכתוב בו שילוח, שנאמר הנה אנוכי שולח לכם את אליהו הנביא לפני יום הלבו הגדול והנורא, והשיב לב בנים על אבות ולב אבות על בנים. אין בן דוד בא, and the son of David doesn't come, עד שיכלו כל הנשמות שבגוף. That all the souls from Adam HaRishon's body come down to this world. To do what? To find their lost objects. Because that's what it is, the Shevat Avedah. Now what does this have to do? He says, therefore, he says, a person who does this mitzvah gets children. Fine. What does this have to do with waking? Remember we said that we're in a slumber, right? And everything that we do has to waken us up to this mission. Because our mission is to build the Beit HaMikdash. Our mission is to bring about Mashiach. How do we do that? Each personal person has to go out and find his lost object. So listen to what he said. What happens now? You sent away the mother bird. She starts to cry over her children. She's in a state of suffering. Umirov Sara, and because the mother bird has such exquisite pain, Asara Memuna Lofot, there's a general, there's a sar, that he's in charge of all the birds in the world. Mevakesh Rachamim Me'akadosh Baruch Hu. He awakens the mercy of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He wakes up HaKadosh Baruch Hu's mercy. Ve'az HaKadosh Baruch Hu mitmale rachamim. Hashem gets full of mercy. Ve'omer, look at what he says. Im asar mevakesh rachamim al minuyav. If this sar, if this general is asking me for mercy on his birds, me, says HaKadosh Baruch Hu by himself, Sha'ani Rachman, umimeni marachamim, lo erachem al banai, that I'm so merciful and I'm full of mercy. If that general can have mercy over his birds, what about me and Am Yisrael? Am Yisrael is in Galut. Oy shechavti et beti, woe to me that I've destroyed my home. Mi garam kozo. And who caused this awakening of HaKadosh Baruch Hu to have mercy? This person went and did the mitzvah. And when a person is doing a mitzvah that correlates to him, he's finding his lost objects. So comes David HaMelech and says, what happens to a Jew when he's in Galut? Why is HaKadosh Baruch Hu saying, woe to me that I destroyed my house and I sent my kids? Because what happened to my kids? They're lost. And where are they lost? They're lost amongst the Goyim. And what happens to a person says, David HaMelech, Ta'iti kiseh oved bakesh avdecha. I'm like a lost sheep. HaKadosh Baruch Hu asks for your servant. What do you mean you're a lost sheep? You're a lost sheep. HaKadosh Baruch Hu search for me. So what happens when a person searches for his lost objects? You're awakening the mercy of HaKadosh Baruch Hu to start searching for us. And when HaKadosh Baruch Hu starts searching for us, he sees that we're lost amongst the Goyim. He sees that there's no Beit HaMikdash. What does he do? He feels mercy, and that brings about Mashiach. So you see that everything about Elul and everything about this war is to cause us to remember what we're doing, what our mission is. And when we're remembering, that's what a mitzvah does. A mitzvah awakens you. So really, at the end of the day, it doesn't even matter what mitzvah you're engaged in. Because the purpose of all the mitzvot is just to make you remember what you're supposed to be doing here. It says, Ner mitzvah. The mitzvah is like a candle. What does a candle do? It sheds light. What does it mean when something sheds light in a state of darkness? It awakens the situation. When a person's engaged in a mitzvah, it awakens the mercy of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And doing a mitzvah is doing something that's connected to your sparks of Kedusha. So it's all about remembering. So that's why the Rambam says that, Elul, what's the purpose of the shofar? To awaken from your slumber. Because the whole year you forgot about what you were supposed to do. Comes the shofar of Elul and tells you, wake up, sleepy ones, from your slumber. And start being engaged in mitzvot. So why didn't the king tell him which mitzvah did what? Why didn't the king tell them? That was our whole question that we started. The king told them, go plant in my orchard and make sure that you... And he didn't tell them. They said, why don't you tell us what to do? So, you see, David HaMelech says to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, says like this. He says, I want you to know something. The only time in Shas, in all of Torah, that it says, Mishecharav Beit HaMikdash yibaneh b'mehera b'yamin. It says, from the time the Beit HaMikdash was destroyed, let it be built speedily in our days. That's the only time it says these words, let it be built speedily in our days. When is that? הפעם היחידה שזה כתוב זה בנושא של השבת אבדה. Comes Rav Yosef Angel and says the only time that the rebuilding of the Beit HaMikdash is mentioned is only in correlation to this mitzvah of returning a lost object. אם כך כתוב, why doesn't it say all the time? So you see from here that there's something to do with returning a lost object that has to do with bringing about Mashiach. So that's why the Or Gedaliah tells you like this, that the whole purpose of the mitzvot is to awaken you. And when you wake up, you cause a Kadosh Baruch Hu to wake up. So now you come back to the Maaseh of the Melech. The Melech told him, I need you, the purpose is to make an orchard. But we want to know what the greatest mitzvah is. I want to know where I'm going to get the biggest reward. Now, how do you know Ki tetzele milchama lo ovecha, that your job is to remember and your job is to grab as much as you do? How are you going to know you're going to win? Who guarantees you that you're going to win? And there might be big obstacles in the way. Because the Yetzer Hara is an angel, don't forget that. So who guarantees you that you're going to win? Comes Rabbeinu Yonah and says, your mission is to realize, that you're in a war. And he says, comes Rabbeinu and says, V'ayazor Hashem l'shavim. Hashem will help those that are coming back, doing tshuva. By the way, tshuva means to return, right? But HaKadosh Baruch Hu never left you. Okay, you're going to say, I left him. What does that mean, you left him? You forgot about your mission. You forgot about returning the lost object. You have a vidot in the whole world. The whole world is your orchard. And you have to return those lost of those spiritual sparks that are connected to you. You know what happens, God forbid, a person has a shirt, yeah? You wore that shirt. And all of a sudden the shirt rips. Now you're finished with that shirt. Why did that shirt rip? Because whatever sparks of holiness were in that shirt that were connected to you, you took them out. And since you took them out, you no longer need it. You did whatever you need to do with that with those sparks of kedusha, and that's in everything in life. That's why a person should never have jealousy in anybody, because if something is yours, those v'chashakta ba, if you desire something, it must mean that you're connected to it, that there's something there for you to do. That's why even in Torah, there's certain things that call other subjects of Torah call one person. This subject calls one person likes Gemara, one person likes Chumash. Everybody's something else calls him. Other people are attracted to other mitzvot. You tell a guy Yom Kippur, says, I love Yom Kippur. You tell him, I can't stand Yom Kippur. You tell a guy Lulav, he loves the Lulav. One guy loves Tefillin. Everybody seemingly something else awakens him. Something else. Why? Because that's your mission. That's your spark. That's your part of the orchard. Every Jew is part of this big orchard. We're all planting trees for HaKadosh Baruch Hu in the big orchard. Comes Rabbeinu and says, but I don't know if I'm going to win. How do I know if I'm going to win? He says, Ein yativa maseget. He says, V'chadesh bekirbam ruach ta'ara. And when a person has this conviction to rejuvenate himself, when he hears that shofar of Elul, and he's rejuvenating, and he's redetermined, and he says, Ani ledodi, I'm going to go out in battle for my uncle, for my beloved, I'm going to go find all my lost objects, whatever it is I lost, I'm going to go back and get it. Ruach ta'ara, a holy wind, lasig ma'alat ahava. You come now to get this ma'ala, this level that's called Ahavat Hashem. By the way, what happens when a person gets the level of called Ahavat Hashem? Tzadok HaKohen comes and says, you know when Mashiach comes, what he's going to reveal to you? The biggest revelation that Mashiach is going to do when it says, Vaya bayom ahu yeh Hashem echad u'shmo echad. Says Rav Tzadok HaKohen Milublin, the biggest revelation that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to reveal to you is that even your sins were the will of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Even the sins that you did were His will also.
You just revealed that.
No, you'll understand it. Because if you know the time, if you think at the time that you're doing a sin, I'm doing the will of Hashem, that's not true. But the Yetzer Hara comes to a person and says, look at you. Look at where you've come from. Look at all the sins. Who's going to accept you? But the truth is, when a person does tshuva, and he's ready to take back everything that he's lost, all his days, because it says, V'Avram Zaken Ba Bayamim. Torah says, why does it say, V'Avram Zaken Ba Bayamim? Avram is old and coming of days. It's a repetition in the Torah. What do you mean Avram's old? If you're old, you're also coming of days. So why does the Torah says, Avram Zaken Ba Bayamim? Because when Avram went to Olam Haba, he went with all of his days. Meaning what? He found everything that he was looking for. All the sparks of holiness that were connected to Avram Avinu. Avram Avinu came with full bags to Olam Haba. That's the mission of a Jew. Ki tetzele milchama lo ovecha v'shavita shivyon. The whole purpose of the shofar is to awaken you. To awaken you to do what? To find your lost object. Says the Rabbeinu Yonah that if a person does everything that he could do al pi teva, everything that you can do in your limit, the rest HaKadosh Baruch Hu does for you. If there's a spark of Kedusha in Australia, and you're in Canada, And what are you going to do? You're not going to get there. Hashem will bring it to you. Because you went out to war. Now, and now since everybody's their own individual, and since everybody has a special part in the orchard, why didn't the king tell anybody what he was supposed to do? Because if you don't plant your tree, and if you don't look for what you're looking for, there's not going to be an orchard. The mitzvah that you're looking for, it could be a huge mitzvah. You want to be engaged in the biggest mitzvah. But that has nothing to do with you, because that's not your sparks of Kedusha. That has nothing to do with you. Says the king, you know why I didn't reveal it to you? Because if I didn't reveal it to you, the orchard wouldn't be complete. What does it mean for our purpose and the orchard wouldn't be complete? That every single individual Jew has a mitzvah and has an objection in the world. And if he doesn't do that objective in the world, the orchard is not complete. So again, it's all about remembering. Mitzvata Shivata Veda, Elul, the shofar of Elul is to make you remember for a while when you come to Rosh Hashanah, that's called Yom HaZikaron. The whole purpose with Elul was to awaken you to remember on Yom HaZikaron Hashem Melech, that Hashem is the king. How do you remember that Hashem is the king? You become you. How do you become you? You get back all your parts. How do you get back all your parts? You go out to war. Oh, Tomer, you made all this up. If I made all this up and I told you that the whole purpose of going out to war is to remember everything, right? And I made this pshat up, I thought I made it up too today. But then I looked at the end of the parasha. What is the end of the parasha? There is one nation that HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, I will not tolerate these people. This is the one people I cannot tolerate. And by them, not only can I not tolerate them, I cannot tolerate anything that has to do with them. Because their whole purpose is to put forgetfulness into you. And who are these people? Zachor et asher asa lecha Amalek b'derech b'tzetcha mimitzrayim. Remember this people Amalek. What does Amalek refer to? Amalek is referred to like cold water in a hot tub. Am Yisrael was full of fire. They were ready. They were concentrated. They knew, I'm here to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I'm going out to war. I'm going to get all the captives, all my nitzutzot, all my sparks of Tusha. I'm going to find the mitzvah that correlates to me. I remember, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I know you. You have to bring it into your heart. Says the Kadosh Baruch Hu about Amalek, Timched Zecher Amalek. You have to totally annihilate them. Why? Because the whole purpose of Amalek is to put forgetfulness into you. And these kind of people says as long as Amalek exists, as long as there's forgetfulness, as long as you're not focused on the mission, Mashiach can't come. Mi ish v'ad isha, mi olel v'ad yonek, mi shor v'ad tzeh. That even to such an extent, says Rashi, you can't even say this is the cow of Amalek. If somebody says this is the cow of Amalek, on the spot you kill it. Why? Because Amalek's whole purpose in the world is to take you away from the month of Elul. To take you away from that shofar that awakens you. Amalek is forgetfulness. Amalek is safek. The gematria of Amalek, like everybody knows, right? The numerical value of Amalek means safek, means doubt. When a person goes into doubt, he's in a state of forgetfulness. He's unsure of what he's supposed to do. The shofar of Elul awakens you, and it reminds you that the war that I have is to get back my sparks of Kedusha. I have to build the orchard of Hashem. Oh, now we understand why the king didn't tell his workers what to do. Because each worker being asked, the Jewish people, each worker has something that's only particular to him, has something that's only special to him. The goal is to build the orchard. But if everybody goes after the greatest mitzvot, you'll never have a full orchard. And not each person has to do something that's the greatest mitzvah or the least mitzvah. There's no great mitzvah and there's no least mitzvah. The mitzvah is to build the orchard. The mitzvah is to find what's correlating to you. Therefore, one plants an olive tree. One plants an apple tree. One is connected to chesed. One is connected to Torah. One is connected to tzedakah. We have to build the orchard. And when a person remembers, that's Yom HaZikaron. On Rosh Hashanah, the orchard of HaKadosh Baruch Hu every year gets rebuilt. And until the orchard is full, Mashiach won't come. Until we bring back all those sparks of Kedusha that are connected to each and every individual, that's Yom HaZikaron HaGadol. The big shofar wakens up because Am Yisrael did their job. But Amalek, forgetfulness, doubt, That has no place in the world. Because that takes you away from your focus. Ki tetzele milchama, the biggest mitzvah that a person has to do is ashevat aveda, to give somebody back their lost object. And the most important person that you have to give their lost object to is yourself. We'll stop here.